It's really difficult to imagine Trump officials acting in any way professional, but let alone seeing them stand up to Trump. And look, this talk about here's a couple problems I have. Number one, Democrats trying to impeach him after the last 2 weeks. Funny how they do that immediately after a violent mob, but they can't force the vote on Medicare for all. They can't force the vote on Medicare for all. That can be top priority, but stupid ass little things like impeach the president. Do I agree he should be impeached? Not in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I wish they would have impeached him over credible things, not a dumbass phone call. But people are talking about is his cabinet going to invoke the 25th Amendment? Now, what is the 25th Amendment? For those of you who are not political, the 25th Amendment basically allows for the president to be removed from office if he is deemed to be unfit to be president, to be in office. Now, it was used, I think, for Woodrow Wilson, I think it was, where he had a stroke and he was in bed for a year. And it was the vice president who kind of took over for a little bit. But and I might be wrong on the history, but it was used once before. Not because, oh my God, the president was mental. But this time, this president is mental. And, so I'm going to tell you why they're thinking about it and why they're not going to do it. Number one, here we go. Why are they thinking about it? Because Republicans have never worried about anything this president has done, right? But now that it hit their doorstep, now they're angry. Now they're like, oh my God, this is serious. Holy crap. Oh my God, this is violent. We need to do something about this. Because it finally happened to them. Okay? Now, that's one reason. Number two is they say, oh my God, he's so unstable now. It's so bad they had to go to Mike Pence, the vice president, to ask if they could release the National Guard because he said no on multiple occasions. Trump. It's so bad they can't even... Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, would say, do not go near the president. Don't help him enable his coup because you could be prosecuted and tried for treason and sedition under the Sedition Act. And so they're like, yeah, we need to do this. And there have been reported talks of staff doing it. And there's one staffer who was actually talking about it, one cabinet official. Okay, so they're doing it because he's mentally unfit. Really? A guy who describes himself as a very stable genius. I'm a very stable genius. I'm like a smart person. Who the says that? Who the hell says that? Only unstable people say that. And so when Charlottesville happened and he enabled that and he said there are fine people on both sides, you didn't say anything about that, huh? No. When 16 people got shot and killed in a synagogue in I think it was Minnesota it was Pittsburgh. You never said anything about that. Never. When he ordered protesters to be tear gassed just so that he could go take a photo op with the Bible, and the military secretary went with him, defense secretary. You guys didn't say anything about that. What about when he did his trade wars and put our economy in peril? What about when he didn't take the pandemic seriously? You didn't do anything about that, and now all of a sudden you want to invoke the 25th Amendment when we've been asking you to do it for years? Okay. Now, why won't they do it? Well, it comes to the simple truth of they freaking fear him. They fear a freaking small ego, conscientious, like just stupid little child, a toddler. They fear that man. And so, what do you have? You have People apparently didn't contact Mike Pence about it, but then Mike Pence said he wouldn't invoke it. But then Betsy DeVos resigns. Funny, you stay in there all this time and now you resign. Worst Secretary of Education in my lifetime, which is short, but of any educational secretary in a long time. I don't know anyone that's worse. And then Elaine Chao, Mitch McConnell's wife, who's been a part of almost every Republican presidential cabinet ever. Really. She's now resigning and saying she's going to leave. I don't know if she's resigned yet, but she says she's leaving. And there's a reason why. She doesn't want to have to vote against Trump. Because these establishment Republicans are like, well, we'll just ignore the issue. They're not going to invoke the 25th Amendment. And they're like, I'd rather just leave. So you're just going to be cowards and not invoke the 25th Amendment because, whatever. Nothing to do with me, baby. And by the way, there's only 2 weeks left. So could they do it? Sure. Should they do it? I don't know. I think so. But at the same time, you're like, okay, 2 weeks, come on. But this man, his Twitter account is active again. Who knows what he's going to tell his supporters? And you thought, his supporters won't do anything. They just did a violent domestic terrorist act on our country and on our country's capital. You think they wouldn't do it? And by the way, if another country attacks us, if an event happens overseas, if anything happens here, you think the military should go to an unstable, unfit, maniac, fascist criminal? No, go to Pence, a religious bigot, but go to him. And look, these are all criminals. This is so stupid. You're never going to have the 25th Amendment invoked. But I just thought I would make this to kind of tell you where people are kind of thinking and what they're thinking and where their minds are. But there will not be any 25th Amendment. I hate to break it to all of you. He will not be removed from office. He will finish his term. Those of you who think, oh no, he'll finish his term. You guys are so dumb. He won't, and there will not be any 25th Amendment. He'll be staying in office, and then we'll inaugurate Joe Biden, and that's it.